chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone, so tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Because pretty much today is the deadline, I'm just going to go straight into getting this PSA out of the way. And when I come back, I'll have more on breaking down what just happened at our parliament. And we're going to call this episode of Sabrina Speaks, yes, the fine print of your future, SPS Brokendown. We're going to do it live and direct here today, but we'll be back after this message.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture and Heritage is pleased to announce that the nominations for the 2026 National Recognition Awards are now open. Nominate individuals and groups who played a key role in developing the Cayman Islands' physical infrastructure. The categories include landmark leaders, infrastructure innovators, and the builders of Cayman. Visit gov.ky/YSCH. Click on the Nominate button to make a nomination. Here is a step-by-step guide to fill out the form. Before starting, please read the instructions, the award categories, and the eligibility criteria. Step 1. Enter your personal information and select the award category for the person or group you are nominating. Click Yes to confirm that your nominee meets the criteria. Step 2. Enter the nominee's full name, date of birth, and district. Indicate their current status, whether living or deceased, and ensure you have the current contact information for your nominee and their next of kin. Fill out the submission detail and provide any supporting documents and a reference to support your nomination. Step 3. Review your submission and make any changes by clicking the previous button. When you are ready, confirm and agree to the terms and click Submit Form to make your nomination. A thank you notice will confirm that the nomination was received, and a copy of the application will be sent to your email. Your nomination will be reviewed and considered by the National Recognition Awards Committee, and only successful nominees will be contacted and recognized at next year's National Heroes Day ceremony. The deadline to make a nomination is October 15. Remember, you can submit multiple nominations or browse our frequently asked questions by visiting the National Recognition Awards tab at gov.ky/YSCH. We look forward to receiving your nomination.
Hold on. Welcome back. Just bear with me, please. I am getting started for today. Okay, just bear with me. We'll be right back.
Infrastructure is more than roads and buildings.
It's our lifeline, connecting East End to West Bay, Cayman to Little Cayman, and the Cayman Islands to the world.
It established the route to get our children to school, keep our hospitals powered, and support our businesses every day.
Through hard work, ingenuity, and perseverance, People make that happen.
From the early pioneers who paved the first paths and laid the first pipes.
To the innovators who modernize water, energy, telecoms, ports, and our airport.
They're the quiet hands that build resilience.
And the vision that keeps Cayman going strong.
Now it's our turn to recognize them. Know someone who built, maintained, or improved the Cayman Islands we love?
Nominate them today at gov.ky/YSCH. Click Nominate today.
Oh. Welcome back to this episode of Sabrina Speaks, right here on CMRTV.com. My humble apologies. We had some technical difficulties there. So yes, we're now back. And I am hoping that all of you who are seeing me, Toll 23, we are still working on some backstage issues in this for this episode. Yeah. So my humble apologies for whatever just happened there. But we're back. We're back. I'm hoping everyone is seeing me and they are ready for another engaging, informing episode of Sabrina Speaks here this evening. We got a lot of ground to cover again today. And I just ask for your patience and understanding as we bring this live to you. So yes, just let me get some lineups here for you. How has your day been going? I hope everyone's been having a good day. We're just trying to get the streaming stuff up. So please bear with me. And I had an interesting article shared with me today about how even digitally moving forward, how this is going to impact, interesting, how it's going to interact or could be even impact how we deliver here for you with this digital ID and digital platforms. And it is a little interesting to say the least. Yeah, so I'm going to continue to watch this space for all of our Instagram, Facebook, YouTube followers. Welcome to this episode of Sabrina Speaks. I am your host, Sabrina, and I'm hoping to bring it live to you today. No different than any other day of all the happenings that went down in our parliament today. And just hope that you were able to identify some of the legal jargon that was used there today. So I'm hoping that you were able to remember what we shared and you were able to identify as well all that was going on. And, that made listening to today even that much more easier for you to navigate and understand. But yeah, here we are for another episode of Sabrina Speaks as we continue to build here in this space. And I am doing some stuff I'm just going to get my Instagram people up and going. Let's go here. Please bear with me. There we go. I'm getting my links and all of, yeah. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to be updating this. Now you know what we go through behind the scenes when you are doing a one-man show. And for me, still getting comfortable. What a mess. What a mess. Yeah, but here we go. So I'm going to have to end some of these streamings because I'm getting these messages coming up here. Oh, Lord. Yep. There we go. Yep. Okay. Let me just do this. Yep. I'm going to do it now. There we go. I'm just doing this and let's hit that so that we can go live. There we go. That's one link. Again, my humble apologies. Welcome to another episode of Sabrina Speaks. We're going to get this all going, but this is what happens when you got a lot of stuff running behind the scenes and behind the background or in the background, and it's technical issues. And I'm not that comfortable yet, to be honest. I'm trying to deliver here to you and still doing it, but it is the nature of the beast. It's the world. As I get comfortable in this space, things will be easier, but it's life. You prepare and things happen and you just pivot and you go along with it. But thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding. For all of you who are watching us and continue to come back to this platform, your support, your continued support is greatly appreciated. But good evening and welcome to tonight's special edition of the Sabrina Speaks show, as we look and delve into, in layman's terms, what I consider the fine print of your future, and me breaking down the SPS, as we know, was just tabled on the floor of Parliament. And that was the first sitting of the second meeting of the 2025-2026 Parliament session. That kicked off at 2 p.m. today. And pretty much that's 3 hours before we went live. So you can imagine what my afternoon has been like. And now we're here bringing it live to you as we continue to build this space. And this strategic policy statement, has been front and center, and it is promises have been made, priorities outlined, and numbers as well is contained in that document. It was presented on the floor and tabled as well by the Honourable Minister Ralston Anglin, who's the Minister of Finance. And it's quite interesting. The broad outcomes, hi, good evening, Connie, welcome. The broad outcomes were outlined in there, but also I hope that, with what was presented in the Minister's Anglin's presentation for the tabling of this document, that you would have found out, or seen a bit of what you were advocating for, and maybe the question may come up, what does it all mean for us as a people? Well, this evening, I'm hoping to cut through some of that jargon. I'm hoping maybe any member from the opposition is welcome to call in or join me. That's totally up to them, because they will have their say once it's opened up to be debated on the floor of Parliament, as we heard on Friday. And also, the same invitation is granted to members of the government. It's totally up to them. And with me being able to try my best in cutting through the jargon, the spin and the political, theater, we didn't see much of that today. We saw a bunch of questions. We saw a lot of annual reports that were being tabled, which means those annual reports are now public document. There were a number of annual reports going back as 2023 and standards of public life that covered a particular period up until July of this year. all of those reports now have been tabled on the floor of Parliament. And if you were following closely in class, you would understand now that means that they're all public documents. And I'm hoping to unpack what is in the strategic policy statement as well. And maybe you may say, well, why didn't they say a little bit more about this? Maybe you might identify, oh, well, Sabrina, I'm not hearing that. The mere fact that it's tabled now will be debated by both sides, will be debated in the floor of Parliament on Friday. That's why it's important then for you to listen to see if maybe there was something that you have missed in the presentation or the delivery of Honourable Ralston Anglin's presentation. So whether or not you're tuning in from your car or just listening because you're hearing us, or from, let's say, your kitchen or on the back patio, like me, if I wasn't doing this show, I'd probably be in my hammock. Just stay with me because the future isn't just written in bold headlines, beautiful glossy papers. It's hidden in the fine print. And we're here to not create a stir, but to more educate and inform you. But the content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and or participants, is intended solely for the general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for your specific concerns, and Sabrina Speaks disclaims all liability for any discussions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. Now, this is, again, another episode of Sabrina Speaks because we're voices of the island's conversations for the world, and the podcast where your voices rise, your stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. I'm yours truly, Sabrina. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And thank you for all of those new followers that I see practically every day are joining us. Obviously, the word is getting out, and I'm happy that you are joining this beautiful family that we're building here, this beautiful home where everyone is loved and appreciated. And today's going to be no different. Oh, my loyal. There we go, Connie Bonnie. So good to have you here. And Ms. Rose is just rolling in. Hello, good evening. Yes, no problem, my love. You do what you got to do. That's the good thing with podcasts. While we have them, you can always go back. Even if you miss us and you can't join us live, you can always go back. Now, once we get all the stuff behind the scenes sorted out with all the other platforms, you will have multiple social media forums that you can actually join us. Yeah. So Connie Bonnie, so good to see you. I'm quite sure the others will join me later. Let's hope that they're recapping exactly what was said at today's parliamentary session. But, huge congratulations go out to the 2025 graduates of John Gray High School that was held last night. And Thursday is going to be Clifton Hunters. Yes, over 300 students graduated last night. And yes, you did it. You did it. No matter how grim it looked, through hard work, resilience, and determination, graduates, you did it. You've reached an incredible milestone. This is a new chapter that you're embarking on, and may this be the beginning of a journey filled with purpose, growth, and joy. And you know what? I don't care what nobody say. We proud of y'all. We proud of y'all. And, this is the beginning of great things. And I know that how emotional it can be for the parents and guardians and siblings and caregivers can see those young men and young women walk across the stage and participate in this milestone of their life, one that they'll never get again, at least not for high school. Whether or not you are one who don't mind just completing your degree or whatever, and you're not all about the hype of walking across the stage and with your friends. And that's totally up to you. But I know as a mom of two, who's long out of the school now, I knew what it was like as a parent raising two young men in my case, pretty much, and what it is for after school, all of these different extracurricular activities. Sundays are no longer yours. All of these projects, which I gave you in the earlier days of my podcast, all the projects that I had to do with my sons, and they would just throw them on you last minute. But it was a family event. It was a family affair. And while juggling a business as a single mom for a good portion of it, you were there at work and they were in my case, under my desk or at the conference room table, and they were doing their projects and we were doing it while I was continuing to work. It's huge. And then life hits you sometime hard. They go through their ups and their downs and their lows, and you even question yourself possibly as a parent. And when that time comes that they walk across that stage, at the end of the day, and they walk across the stage, and then you see exactly all of your accomplishments. At the end of the day, there is just something fuzzy in you. And to all the parents and guardians, especially those single parents who did it, who wear you no Facebook. Yeah, I know. Okay, I'm getting something, no Facebook. Yeah, no, I know we were having some problems there on Facebook. My apologies to you guys on Facebook. Oh, Lord, here we go again. All right, let's see what I can do here. Let's see what I can do here, guys. Just bear with me. There we go. Let's see what we can do. Let's do this again. Let's do this again. Thank you, Ash. I actually understood that. There we go. Facebook, you should be back up. Please tell me if Facebook is back up. We're good to go. We're good to go. Please let me know if Facebook is back up. Yeah. Yeah. For all of those parents, who actually have gone through all of that. There we go. Let's see what we can do here. I'm trying to get all of my links back up because we had some issues in the background there. And I think it's in regards to the live stream that was happening earlier on. And that is the power of what we do here. So please, 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 please forgive us for this. And your girl is trying her best to do what she can do behind the scenes so that everybody's happy. That's why I didn't see much comments coming through. Oh, yeah. You always know. Thank you, Ash, for letting me know that there was no Facebook, but now you should be up. Facebook should be up. Please let me know. Yeah, there we go. Now I can do this. There we go. Copy. And here we go. That's the link. That's the link. I just sent you the link for the Marl Road. There we go. So there we go. Yep. And she's lurking in the background. Good evening.
Hello. It's me.
Yeah. Yes, because I'm getting ready to say, let's start over from scratch. Damien says it's up now. Damien says Facebook is up now.
Yeah, but this is weird. Why do we look more vertical than horizontal?
I don't know. Maybe because it's that.
There we go. Were you using an overlay just now? That was a little bit weird.
Girl, whatever was going on, I was just making sure people were seeing and hearing.
Oops. Hold on. Let me see. That's weird. Cropped layout. Oh, we were in crop layout as opposed to this. Okay, that's the little thing down at the bottom.
Layout.
That's down at the bottom. I see what it did.
I don't know.
But then where did that crop layout come from?
I just wanted to live.
Group layout.
I know people are killing themselves laughing in the background because I'm seeing some comments come through on YouTube. But now Facebook is back up, guys, just for those. Thank you so much for actually see people are discovering.
So hold on now. Go to Facebook. Did you grab the Facebook link?
I just sent it to you by WhatsApp.
Oh, you didn't send that to me. You sent it to the group. So did you delete your other message?
I don't know what I did. I'm just
and you sent the StreamYard one. No. Okay, let me delete that.
Yeah, please delete it.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna teach you how to do this one on the fly. We're gonna get it done.
I'm going to teach me how to secure me some serious sponsors so I can get a techno team in the back. Because if I gotta
no. Then you got to be paying technical people all kind of money. We got to do this on our own.
Your battles,
all right. So here's what you do. You're in the stream, right? Once you're live, the easiest way to do it is to go to the top and you see the Facebook and YouTube options right there, right?
Yeah.
So when you click on that and you click on view on Facebook, the drop down at the very top right, close to the edit button. Click view on Facebook.
So where I'm on StreamYard right now, and I'm seeing all of the social media platforms that we're on.
The one at the top, yes.
Yeah,
The one at the top for CMR Facebook.
Now it's saying you're live.
Okay. Click
and
on
now
the little drop down.
Facebook.
Yep. Click on the little drop down arrow right there next to, let's just do the CMR one. So click on that little drop down arrow and you'll see edit, remove, view on Facebook. Click view on Facebook.
Yep.
Okay. So when you do that, it's going to come up with you're about to view stream, blah, 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 blah. Say don't show that again.
Correct.
Continue. Oh. And then it takes you directly to the stream.
Oh.
Now you're going to click full screen on that. So just click on it. Click on the video.
On the video.
Right? Where StreamYard just took you to. Click on it. And then you see up at the top, that URL.
Now I'm hearing you.
Sorry.
Oh, that's the one.
That's the URL you copy. So that was the tab that I was saying, just keep it muted because otherwise you'll get all sorts of feedback.
Okay, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, so that is the clean URL. So it should end in 9970.
Okay, so what do you do now?
Yeah. All right, so good. So now go to the CMR channel.
On Facebook?
Nope. Back to WhatsApp.
Oh, okay. So I need to copy this first.
Right. So just right mouse click and copy it.
Yep. And now I go back.
Now go to CMR News, that channel. And then you're going to just type Sabrina Speaks, do asterisk, or not asterisk, the little star. So it can bold that first bit, Sabrina Speaks.
Hold on, let me get to one of the things first.
So mute me, because I think for you, I'm reverbing on that tab.
And where is that tab?
The Facebook tab that you just opened to get the link. So all the way up at the top where it says it says Facebook in the little tab. If you right mouse click right at the top there, it gives you the option to mute that tab. So where you just got the link from, all the way up at the top, like the name of the tab in Chrome, you just right mouse click it, and then you should be able to mute it.
It just gives me undo, cut, copy, paste. It doesn't give me mute.
No. Okay. Give me 1 second. Folks, we are learning on the job today. Bear with us, because come hell or high water, I want this young lady here. Hear me?
Yeah, I could do it. Yeah, but I
to be able to do it. All right.
I got somebody to do this for me, though. You know.
No. This is so easy.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody to do.
Yeah.
You don't need anybody to do this for you. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to do it. Hold on. Let me just open up the tab here. All right. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna share my screen so that you can see what I'm doing. Let me just pull it out over here. All right. So I'm going to share my screen within your show. Okay. So add to screen. All right. So that you see when you set it, it takes you here. It always takes you to like the preview window. All right. So I'm going to share my screen, click on it to enlarge it to get the clean URL up at the top. So you see where I'm all the way. All right. So you see when you set it, it takes you here. It always takes you to like the preview window. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. When I'm here, I go all the way to get the clean URL up at the top. Take off your. So you see where I'm all the way. All right. So you see when you set it, it takes you here. It always overlays the preview window. All right. So then you share my screen. When I'm here, I go all the way to get the clean URL. Take off your. So you see where I'm all the way. All right. So you see when you set it, it takes you. It always overlays. It's kind of weird because now it's then you so when I'm here, I go all the way to the but all the way take off your all the way to so you see when you set it, it takes you here. It always overlays. It's kind of weird because now it's then you so when I'm here, I go all the way to the but all the way take off your all the way to all right, hold on. When you said it always overlays. It's kind of weird because now it's kind of weird how it does it. But I go all the way. I'm minimize the window. Take off your all the way. All right, hold on. Hold on.
It's
Okay.
kind
of weird because now it's kind of weird how it does it. But yeah, let me pull you out. I'm in live for a while. Take off your all the way back. All right. So yeah, because I got all the way at the very top. It's kind of weird how it does it. But yeah, let me pull you out. I'm in live for a while. Take off your all the way back. All right, just do. So yeah, because I got all the way at the very top. It's kind of when you share the screen, it's kind of weird how it does it. All right, hold on. Gonna walk you through this step by step because this is when you see it and you finally get it, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, it was that easy. All right, here we go. Okay, let me just see here now. Through this step by step because nope, hold on, is that the right one? Remove. Stop sharing. Let me just grab this image. Okay, I'm going to grab a clean. All right, let me grab it now. Because what it was doing, it was actually showing. Yeah, okay, so this is what I want you to see. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, here we go. I was trying to do the video, but all right, so this is what I was trying to show you, right? So you see at the top where it says Facebook, Cayman Moderate videos, and then that number. All the way at the very top of the bar.
Mm-hmm.
That is what you're going to basically click on and copy. But right above that, where it says Facebook, you see where I have that little mute thing all the way up there?
Yeah, with the mic.
So my tab is muted. So right in that area, right next to the name Facebook, you can go there and right mouse click, and it'll give you all kind of options like new tab to the right, new tab for a reading list. But if you scroll down further, you'll see the option to mute and unmute the site. So that mutes and unmutes that tab. So before I open it to then grab it to share in the channel, what I do is I mute it because otherwise your listeners are going to hear it in the background.
Okay.
So same thing with YouTube. When we go to YouTube, we're going to mute YouTube, but you've already sent out YouTube, so YouTube is fine, right? You have that one because YouTube is a lot easier.
Right now, we sent everybody going to find a mental specialist because they were going crazy.
Yeah. So we're going to just copy that. And then give me 1 second. I'm going to pull out my other little tab here, and I'm going to show you how we just add it to the channel. Because now, girl, you got channel access, so you know you're special.
Mm-hmm. Special ed.
All right. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so let me see here now. Right. So let me take this one off. Take out the screenshot, and I'm going to add this. Okay, so this is the channel, CMR News, right? More or less. It's kind of small, but you can see it okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to do Sabrina Speaks, asterisk, Sabrina Speaks, asterisk again. And when you have more time, you can put in whatever the title is, but we ain't got no time for that today. We need to get you to talking. So I'm going to do YouTube : I'm just going to grab your YouTube link. So we can do the easiest way for you to do it is just to grab it right from within StreamYard. So I'm going to go view on YouTube. See, it wasn't muted, so I muted it real quick. Grab the link there, paste, Facebook : Gonna grab the link. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Because Facebook doesn't give you the live link until it's live.
Live. Okay.
And then I do W for website, www.cmrtv.com. And then I put your show number. I do my little phone emoji, : 345-936-8255. And boom, I just send that out. Now people have the YouTube link, the Facebook link, the website link, and your phone number. And it's just easy like that. And then once you send it, I mean, normally you see, I've been doing it for you. I've been spoiling you. I should have had you doing that from day one.
Yeah, that's the problem. When you say about do this, and I was like, well, I remember the first time you told me to just post it, I was sending all of the messages.
You were sending it to me.
Thinking, girl, you got this. And until you took me off of that, and you're like, Sabrina, but you've been sending them all to me. Well, I know I was sending them somewhere.
And the reason why I do YouTube first, just as an FYI, as the first link, is YouTube gives you a much better preview here of the show image than Facebook. Facebook does all kind of weird stuff. So in your URL links, right? You see it previews the YouTube one really nicely. The Facebook one doesn't quite do it as nicely.
Okay.
So I do YouTube first, Facebook, website, and then the phone number. And, you know, you've got people on your page, you've got people on my page. So I send the link for CMR, you know, and then I do the forward. And then I always send this to the Washington Boulevard people. So if you have other groups, I do Windsor Park, Washington Boulevards, Cayman in Florida, and then a couple hundred people easily now have it. So I always forward it for you once it's sent.
Right.
And then that's it. And you're good to go.
Well, what I'll do, I'll probably have a number of episodes where it'll be test and me doing all of this stuff. So guys, if you see messages coming up to you, test, because I won't ever relive this again.
You're gonna trust me, you are going to have this down pat before you even know it.
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot. You know, I mean, it's just steps. And then the thing is, once you send it one time, you just got to like screen grab that so you remember this information I have to include in it, right? Because you'll forget by tomorrow. You'll be like, what the heck was in that again?
Exactly. Now
but
people will understand.
But I want you to learn to do it yourself, because if I keep doing it for you, you know what's going to happen.
Or I pay you.
Nope. Nothing like being self-sufficient.
Oh, it's true.
Because then the one day that tech person is out of office, or they're sick, or they're giving you some excuse or this or that,
you got to be able to deliver.
You got to be able to do it yourself.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So you know you're good to go. And trust me, you're doing more complicated things already with the show that you just don't realize that that's what you're doing. So this is just another quick little step at the beginning, because you'd be surprised how many people. I need to renew your it's not taking that link for StreamYard for Instagram. So let me get you a new Instagram one. You'll be surprised the number of people that literally wait for you to send the link. They're not going to go look for it.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Some of them, they want to be spoon-fed. So it just helps if you have it directly available for them. And that's the easiest way to send it out. And then some people go back later on, they say, hey, Sandy, I didn't get a chance to watch it like while you were live, but because you send the link every day,
where's the link?
Go back in the channel and view it later.
Makes sense.
All right, honey, you are up and running now. So
well, those people who are joining us now, they missed a whole heap of chaos. Oh my God, that was something.
No, that's not chaos. That's learnable, teachable stuff. And see, people are now logging on to Instagram. So
there we go.
There you go. By the way, I love the outfit today. I love the white. That looks so pretty.
Trying to think.
Yeah.
You know, you try to do the thing so that this poppy can show up, and you try to blend, not blend in with your background, but try to complement. And then I got the pink going on for breast cancer awareness month.
Yeah. I'm in awe of the decor and the effort that you just put into looking good.
Yeah.
I'd be rolling out of bed. I'd be like, let me just put on
That's the difference of the morning. Look at the mess that you called me and you called me the other morning. But that's the difference. And I feel I'm a big proponent of protecting your brand, and you want to show consistency. And I'm like I said, I get bored easily. So my background cannot remain the same. I just get bored easily. So
you're good. I know for me. But once we get the studios set up, I want you to help me with decorating them for seasons.
Sure. It's an honor. Look around your house for crap that you have that you bought, and we'll just do it, because that's really all that I've been doing here.
I ain't got none of that stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, we got
barely get the Christmas things.
We
I
got to
only
save money because we're small businesses we're starting. And if there's something we can share,
Yeah.
yada, yada, yada.
Sabrina, I
Mhm.
only do Christmas because of Gigi. For years, I wasn't even putting up a Christmas tree.
Oh,
And then when
no.
she came along, I was like, no, I can't not put up a Christmas tree for the baby.
I do just because.
I know. I can see that you're into that, which I love.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I do it.
absolutely love it. I bet you're gonna have a pumpkin outside with candy for Halloween and all that fun stuff for the neighborhood kids.
Well, interesting enough, I don't necessarily do the pumpkin because in outdoors I'm afraid of frogs, but I do have decor outside, minimal. And for Halloween, everyone knows my place for cupcakes, donuts. You don't just come for candies. And normally what I found that the parents usually leave my place for last because especially if it's on a weekend, then they know I will either, if it's good weather, I would have something on the grill and they sit down while the kids exchange candies, that sort of stuff. So that's
nice.
what my house is known for. I'm usually the last on the list because then I entertain the parents. So the kids go on the side, the adults sit down after a night of just drinking, and when we catch up, the kids have a good time. But it's just not candy. It's just not candy. There's always cupcakes, there's always donuts, and of course, a lot of liquidation sunsets.
I love it. I love it. I love it. No, that's good. You know, there's a house. I'm not going to tell you guys where it is because I don't want you to be crashing her party, but there is a certain Canadian friend of mine who has a bomb.com Halloween event. And so I always go to her house because she has real food like sushi and wings and, you know, drinks for everybody. I mean, that family goes all out. It's such an amazing time. And I don't even live in their neighborhood. I drive half an hour to get to her.
No, I've been known for that for years. From the days of Victoria Avenue, those kids knew they could go to Miss Sabrina's house because we know it's just not candies. We're going to leave with a whole heap of stuff. Then you have some of the kids, if they don't realize that's the stop to go to, they would either have like a little bag, and I would always have extra little tote bags that I would give them. I says, this is not the only stop, right? No. And I would give them other bags so that they can go. So I'm known for that. But over the years, before being elected, of course, because I had no time. But even so, for the constituency office, that place transformed into a walk-through.
You were always decorating your team.
We did it.
You guys were always decorating that, which is really nice.
So that transitioned into my political life as a reflection of what I did before I was into political office. But that was thanks to Bianca and the team.
I must say, you had an amazing team at your office there. Bianca in particular.
Yes.
My goodness. She was a little worker bee. What is she up to now? Can I ask? Do you know?
Yeah, Bianca's she's still looking for a full-time job. She's temporarily helping Nicholas, but she's still out looking. And you know who was behind the scenes that was hardly ever in the front that really were the action movers? Miss Joyce Ann. Because Bianca is the more events coordinator, decoration, that sort of stuff. But Miss Joyce Ann also contributed to the ideas. And it was, you know, her. All we had to say, this is what we need. This is what we need. And Mr. Walters as well. David. Oh, yeah.
Tavis was a good worker bee.
I learned to appreciate the very small core of people that I had around me, what strengths they brought. And then we capitalized on it, which is what resulted in what we were able to deliver.
Yes. Yeah, no, man, you guys had a really amazing team. Yeah. And there's a lot to be said for small but mighty.
Yeah,
you know,
it is. You get better quality, in my humble opinion, which is why the whole drive through for even Christmas, that I really enjoyed that the most.
Hi, Miss Michelle. How you doing?
Hey.
She says, "Good job, you two." This is what I was saying. Somebody was kind of being critical this week about, you have Filipinos who are going to be in CMAR to me. I'm like, y'all try and hush. I said, people don't know what it takes, Sabrina. They really have no clue what happens behind the scenes. I mean, a live show has a different layer because you are live and you're multitasking live, right? But they don't have any idea the planning that goes into any of this. Like Bervelin says, tech class this evening.
No, and I could be honest, again, with everyone, it's something amazing creating content, because for what I am doing and for what I'm delivering, your show has its own stamp. Mine has its own stamp. And what I'm realizing with all of those persons that are tuning in for Sabrina to Speak, they expect takeaways. They expect me to deliver, to educate, to inform. Like today, break it down in simple terms, because I know for those who listened today, they may have caught onto a lot of the jargon that was shared on the floor of Parliament, and it was easier understood. So, but
I'm gonna make your life easier. You and I need to you bring whatever drink or beverage. Maybe like Friday we can do this. I'm just drinking water and tea at the moment, so no sodas, no nothing else. And I'm going to sit down and introduce you to how to use certain AI tools that are going to make your life so much easier with dissecting 8 hours worth of content sometimes, because these people go on and on in Parliament, as you well know. Nobody ain't got no time to be sitting down listening to no 8 hours of stuff. So I'm going to give you 2 tools that is going to make your summarizing these things, make your life so much easier. And then if you need to deep dive into specific areas, you can pull out like that 20-minute conversation or hour conversation that you really need to hone in and focus on. Because it's a lot. I mean, for me, the biggest advantage of AI is to make all this information that's coming at us from every single angle more manageable. Because it's a lot. Like every day I'm like scrolling and I get this message and this information, and it's just like, oh my God.
But so, I can tell you, excellent. But for me, it's not just listening to what they're saying. For someone coming out of Parliament,
you have that insight. Oh, yes.
So for me, even though, yes, I would be more than happy to take advantage of those working smart,
because then you can go to a specific area in the video and you're able to critically, because you know the body language, you know when one side is saying something, they're snickering on the other side. So you have that inside knowledge. That's why, listen, folks, when Sabrina and I were talking about her coming on the show, I said to her, listen, you are in a unique position. We have never had a sitting minister, someone who is a minister, unfortunately didn't get elected, but like they say, sometimes these little things are a blessing in disguise.
Fortunate. Now we're going to change that. Fortunate.
Didn't get reelected and then has the ability to interact with thousands of people every single day through this show, through this forum. I mean, it is next level, and no one I stand here with no fear of contradiction. No one has done what Sabrina is doing with the results that she's getting in terms of the viewership. Have you looked at your numbers lately, girl?
I don't. I just keep focused, but that's been my life.
Have you been paying attention?
Nope. I just deliver.
You have got
that makes me remain humble.
Oh my gosh. No, you're going to be humbled, but listen, you got to watch these numbers, because when people come to you and say, hey, Sabrina, I've been thinking about advertising on, your show. You got to be able to say, oh, wonderful. We'd love to have you. And they say, yeah, but tell me now, how many views did you have yesterday? And you can say 7.9 thousand. See right there.
I based on what I can see sometimes in what you say, but for me to say, oh my God, how much should I get that? No, I don't. I'm just more into the next
analytical data that you are going to have to go back to view sometimes, because people want to know, well, how are you trending? Like, who's really watching you? Because if I run a commercial, I want to make sure people can see it. And then you're going to say, oh yes, Auntie showed me how to just screen grab from this area.
That what I need to know. Yeah, the screen grabs is what I need to get into.
Because then you can pull it right into the show just like this. I just screen grabbed this in 2 twos.
Oh, wow.
And so there you go. 7.9 thousand, 8.3 thousand, 7.8, 7.8.
Well, there we go. I got a lot to say.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
Yeah. The proof is in the pudding now.
So when I say thanks to all of my loyalists and all of those persons who, you see what? Yeah, that's why.
Yes, the proof is in the pudding. And wait till we launch radio when people driving home can listen.
Correct.
That's gonna be hot.
Yeah. Wow. But it is not an easy, it's not, you just can't, it's not an easy ride. You just gotta constantly be on your game. You gotta be on your game all the time.
As they say in life, nothing good comes easy.
Yeah.
Look at this. 10.6, 9.5, 12.8. That one was a hot day. I don't know what you're talking about. Courage, care, and community. 12.8 2 weeks ago.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. 8,000 beyond with Kiara. 8,000 views. 7.
Oh, wow.
Budgeting for whom? Yes, you can let Kiara know she was a hit.
Oh,
Let It Out
wow.
came out 15.7.
Yeah, that was a rough Monday show. Oh gosh, yeah, that was
Yeah.
the weekend that the fire officer passed, and I know those guys. Yeah, that
Oh,
was rough. And then we had the issue with the BRAC, and that was a rough. And I felt the tension in our community. And I says, I
yeah.
need to do a Let It Out episode so people can
Oh my
call. And
gosh.
when
Yeah.
that was
Well,
coupled
it
with
clearly
Cayman, yeah,
resonated with
identify.
people.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and that's what it is. Ash, she giving me jokes talking about expert Auntie Sandy took over Uncle Marlon job or what? No, listen, that's next level tech there, Ash. Let me tell you, I just dabble in it. He's the expert. So when I can't figure it out, I got to be calling him. She says, my head, laughing out loud. She's like, that's too much for me.
Yeah, it was when all of those different frames were playing, and I was like,
know,
oh my God.
I got to figure out, I think what it is because I am joining as a guest. I can't, I got to figure out why it does that. It happens when you add somebody else and then they're doing the screen sharing. But there has to be a way. I'm gonna talk to some other people about the platform because there has to be a way where it doesn't do screen within a screen within a screen because that's what it's doing.
That's what and that's what people were sharing. Poor Connie. Connie was like, oh my God,
quadruple.
Mhm.
But I'll or something. So if you shared it, it would be okay. But when I do it, it doesn't quite do it the right way.
It duplicates it and then it runs it in real time. So you're hearing an echo. What would be an echo? But it's too different. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something I'll have to learn how to not do. Like there has to be a way to kind of work around it. But yeah, I mean, lots for you to talk about. So
yeah, there is. Probably going a little bit overtime today.
Yep. I'm going to let you go so you can get to it.
Yep. There we go. Thank you so much.
All right, love. Have a good one.
All right. Thanks much. Yes. Welcome to all of you who tolerated us for the beginning and that lesson 101 for what I need to know. It's not as easy as just paying for a service. You can tell when it really have to get you your own independence. And sometimes you want to do it that way, just to not bother. But Sandra said a lot when she said, what happens when your tech guy is out? You still want to know enough so that you can save yourself. And independence is key. But, for all, I just want to say big congratulations. This is what pictures I got, and I want to share them with you. Anastasia, congratulations, my sweet. She is one of those little ones that graduated last night. Well, little ones to me, because I remember her when she was one little itty bitty thing coming into my office when I had my immigration thing. And, she is one who graduated last night. Here's another beautiful picture of her. Oh my God, her papa and all the family must be so happy. And I am so, so proud of her for her just making it here. And look, now they've reached. When look at here, look at here. Oh, isn't that adorable? Yes, that's Anastasia Bennett, and she graduated last night amongst 300 odd kids, more kids, and my gosh, this is our future. These are young men and women. This is one young lady who I'm very, very proud of, and congratulations to Dad. Congratulations to all of the extended family, all the uncles, everybody that has been there, her rock. And when those days look grim, when you doubted yourself, even as a parent, look at that. Look at that. You ought to be proud. But I am proud. I am very, very proud. And we got another young junior chef. Whoa. Okay. Jamo shared with me. And before all of that chaos, Santos Flores, congratulations to you. You are on your way to Indiana to participate. And the first time ever, the Cayman Islands is actually, Livana, she's beautiful. Santos here is being chaperoned by LaShawn Sims, and he is on his way. First time ever, the Cayman Islands will be represented in the World Food Championships or Junior Chef. He's in the Junior Chef category, and he'll be coached by a chef, Peter. And, as I said, they're off this afternoon. They're en route as we speak. And this would not have been possible as shared with me. And please don't quote me for all of the sponsors. I will probably miss some out. I just wanted to share it with you. Continue to watch this space. All of the media platforms that will be doing this, these two are just off. They're on their way to Indiana. And all the sponsors like Liz from U.S. Meats and Exports Federation. We look at the ministry of the Honorable Isaac Rankin, whose ministry definitely was instrumental in giving funds for this to actually happen. We got corporate sponsors like Maples, A.L. Thompson's, Home Gas, Ministry of Education as well. And I will share, should we have young budding chefs who may want to also get involved, I'm going to share a number with you. It's 345-922-3652 for more information. Or you can also email, I'm going to share this reel with you, and that is NYC, P as in Peter, Cayman.com. For more information for corporate sponsors to get involved, there you go. That is the contact information. And we're definitely going to send congratulatories, celebrations, wishing Santos Flores all the best. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of what he's going to be cooking up under the pressure. So yeah, we got to celebrate with our young men and women who go off, and they're ambassadors for the Cayman Islands. I had showcased a number of them who were in the barbecue junior champions. That was last week, Friday, I think, or week before. And we heard that first time ever that we had the Cayman Brackers felt, the children in the Brack, sister islands, felt included. And this is no different this time around. And I'm so pleased and excited to see exactly what's going to become here. But we're going to keep you informed. We're definitely going to keep you abreast of all of the happenings. And did you remember anybody go down to Cafe del Sol to get your taste blend to share in honoring definitely Breast Cancer Awareness Month? This is delicious. I had it yesterday. Oh my God, it was delicious. It was delicious. And for every purchased, this is your strawberry matcha frappuccino. And you can get it from, there's Cafe del Sol in Countryside, there's Cafe del Sol Marquee, and there's Cafe del Sol in Bayshore. Yes, Bayshore. You can also get it down there as well. So great things to come and delicious. But I know a lot of you are here to get a breakdown because like what Sandra say, how much people want to listen to some of these, but I hope that you were intrigued or interested enough today based on the prep that I did with you in regards to the strategic policy statement that outlines Claire. Yes, Claire, there were 2, 4, 6, 7 broad outcomes shared today. Your girl got it. Your girl got her hand on it. Yep, I got my hand on it, and I'm sharing it here with you. And those were 7 clear broad outcomes. Let me pick it up on this screen because I'm blind as a bat. And what this means is what the broad outcomes for 2026, 2028 in the document that is now public. They're looking at education, immigration, and workforce development. That is a strong education and immigration system that supports a highly skilled and adaptable Cayman population. And then the other one is housing infrastructure and environment, sustainable physical development that prioritizes affordable housing, ensures resilient infrastructure, and protects nature. So all of that under the housing, infrastructure, and environment is a balance in regards to, are we going to see the East-West arterial come into fruition? Are we going to see the accessibility or more houses, affordable houses being accessed to? That's what's coming under this section. Economy, a diversified, resilient economy that supports prosperity and innovation. Also under the health and social development section, which is on page 10 on this document. It's healthy and empowered people with improved quality of life of all ages. And quite interesting. I am so proud of the sitting administration that they have finally given a realistic budget, not necessarily 100%, but more money for HEA2 and NGS 55 that was underfunded. And that speaks to a cooperation and understanding of an entire cabinet where they are willing to definitely put more money into an area that has been struggling, that required funding. So kudos to them for properly funding it, which means the ministry now will be able to pay Cineco, overseas and local providers, so that you should have easier access and transition to access in healthcare. Now, these are some of the things that, coming out of COVID, not giving any excuses for myself, but I had to fight for funding. And, from the get-go, coming out of the gates, what is promised to people is that this now will be funded properly. Minister Catherine Ebanks-Wilts, you do not realize how much easier this has just made your life as a Minister of Health. And you ought to thank, now that they're getting ready to go for a budget in November, make sure these numbers that is outlined here in this table document sticks. That's going to be your fight. And if you get that, my love, your life will be made so much easier. But congratulations so far in the tabling of this document, and you actually saying as Minister of Finance, Honorable Ralston Angling, saying that you realistically put in numbers there that can adequately fund, especially those two outcomes, whilst you still look at accountability of the HSA board, how things and legislation surrounding it, where, and the remuneration that was very topical, that it's now not going to be per meeting, but it's actually going to be per sitting, like a monthly. It's not a pay as you go type thing. So good. I'm looking forward for this to be debated on, and more as we get into preparation to finance. So yeah, kudos to Health Minister there and Social Development under that section. And then it goes on to Caymanian identity, culture, and heritage, a cohesive society that protects and institutionalizes Caymanian identity and culture, public services, efficient, effective, accountable, and people-centered public services. That's key. I love that word. I love people-centered. You may have heard me use people-centric. And then you got good governance and public safety. This is where your national security, how you're going to fund your RCEP, so your uniform services, a secured, well-governed country demonstrated by transparent governance and robust public safety systems. Oh, as I was reading this, I go back to health, and what was actually profound stated, I think it was either the premier, when history was made again today, when this is the first time that the premier was asked directly a question by the opposition, which is history in the making, that he says, some of the recommendations or the recommendations being made by the Auditor General will be considered or actually implemented. Please don't quote me, but what they're saying, references from the Auditor General as we looked at better governance and accountability to combat mismanagement, as we have heard so loudly, especially with health services, that those recommendations will not go unchecked, and that these recommendations will definitely be taken into consideration. That was profound, and I am so proud of them for that. But hey, the sky's the limit for what's to come. Yeah. So the actual document, if you're going to stay with me today, and I encourage you to stay with me today, I'm not even getting into the headlines. You can all see that with what a beautiful entry we made here today. I'm not going to get into the headlines, but please, there's so much more on the CMR pages of breaking headlines that I want to get into this document. So by Friday, when they go to debate, you will be even more prepped and prepared for exactly what transpired. And if you're able to get your hand on this document, like I have been able to, yeah, there we go. That's going to be what the front page looks like. And then you will have the table of contents that has a message from our premier in plain English, pretty much a great synopsis. is that this is actually what is the Premier's statement, opening statement. Like, it's almost like and this is not a reflection of what is in there, because I'm going to give them time to actually present it on Friday, because the Premier will move a motion for this to be debated on the floor of Parliament. Once he moves the motion, they're allowed to speak, and then it's opened up for debate. And that's where in your opposition now, they're going to go away from tonight, more than likely to huddle and to see how they're going to go through this with a fine-tooth comb, which is what the opposition is there for. And they're going to come up to debate maybe some of the presentations that are contained in those 5 broad outcomes. And obviously you'd have those with the strength of, with the finance background, that will look at those numbers to see if it's sound, is it sustainable. The Minister of Finance says that presenting this strategic policy statement in itself, now funding all of what they brought out, still falls within the safe parameters of not going outside the rules in which you can operate for government. So then that means that the Cayman Islands government will still be able to control any borrowings, if any, that they will not have to get permission from the UK to operate our country. So in this document, as tabbed as 1, it would be our Premier's opening statement. And pretty much this is a message like the captain's announcement before takeoff. That is what this is. It tells us where we're going, why it matters, and what kind of leadership the Cayman Islands people, can expect, right? So it sets the tone. That's what it does. It explains the government's priorities. It reassures the public about the direction of things, where we're headed from 26 to 28. And what it does is that the Premier shares the big picture in the statement, vision, and signals exactly what I said, where we're going. So that's what that is. And, we had, that is there and over 2 pages. You can read that for yourself. And then pretty much what else is contained in this is a message from Minister of Finance, who is the one who tabled this document. Now you will understand how close the synergies are between the 2 persons, our Premier and the Minister of Finance. Remember, the Premier sets the vision. The Minister of Finance has to it's in his responsibility to see if can we meet these, to pay for these things. So the finance minister pretty much then tabled it, which made it a public document. And that pretty much says, here's how we're going to be spending your money. And here's why it's a smart, responsible plan. And here's how we're going to pay for it all. Okay. So in plain lingo that is contained here, and he's gone into great details, this will focus primarily on the money side of things. It explains how the government plans to manage public funds, balance spending, and invest in key areas as alluded to in their outcomes. And actually what it is the finance minister explaining in full detail how the money will be managed to support the entire vision as pointed out by our Premier. So on, I think going on here with what I read, all of this is what I was doing while they were talking, And in this, it clearly states in plain English that the Cayman Islands government strategic policy, SPS, outlines the government policies priorities for the next 3 financial years and established the foundation, and I'm quoting, for the development of the government's budget for the next 2 financial years. Remember, I says they're in 2 tranches, but this document pretty much outlines the government priorities for the next 3 years, but the numbers in which they're doing will cover for the next 2 financial years. So this is the government's master plan for the next few years. It outlines the goals, priorities, how resources will be used to achieve them. And this strategic policy statement outlines the goals with economic growth, sustainability, social investment. And it's the government's way of saying, here's what we'll focus on and here's why. And then it's the finance ministers to say, well, we can afford it. So yes, it is the government's playbook. This here is the government's playbook. And it shows us what they care about. It shows us whether or not they were listening to you. It's also what they're aiming for and how they'll use public money to get there, how they will use your money to get there. And so yes, it's quite interesting. I'm looking forward to the debates. And there we go. And then we got those broad outcomes that I shared with you, and the Cayman Promise, pretty much, what it entails, and it has the definition so that you'll understand, well, what are broad outcomes. And I could actually go through those definitions for you, because I had written some notes as I could explain them to you in plain English, really, and what it means. So at the end of the day, I wish that everyone will access this, be it digitally or otherwise, and they will be able to explain for exactly what this means moving forward, and expecting what they're expecting to achieve and how they're going to do it. And at the end of the day, again, the opposition is there. They're your voice. So I want you to really listen keenly. And if you have any questions, you shouldn't feel any way of asking your elected representative at all. And how government is going to deliver is also contained in this document. Yeah. It also breaks down, from the finance side about it. The statement of responsibility, otherwise what we can call the Cayman's promise to play by the rules, when you're saying the overspending and all of that sort of stuff. That particular section of this document really confirms who will be accountable for the financial forecasting. And the numbers are prepared honestly and carefully. And it's really, to be honest, what government is saying is that they stand by the numbers and that they're taking full responsibility for them. It's Cayman's way of saying we're not just spending, we're spending wisely. So if that meets your satisfaction, we need to just listen to what's going to play out in the debate on Friday, and then prepare from the money side of arguments, for argument's sake, then in November, when you go back, to put numbers, realistic numbers, to hopefully they can deliver these broad outcomes. At the end of the day, the borrowing of 300 million, that can come up. I think that was said there today. So we'll find out exactly what that is. And when you talk about the forecasting, physical forecasts, that's how government expects to earn and spend. So when you're talking about forecasting, what is the income and how much they're going to spend? These are projections or predictions that was key in your leaders being able to make decisions as to how they're going to deliver for the people. They were talking about housing, what is forecasted. They have to think of any emergencies that may come up. And these predictions really are about how much money they will earn and spend. And this includes revenues on fees, or if they're going to increase any fees, let's say for government. You've heard the importance of pillars that the Minister of Finance laid out, what monies, work permits contribute, what monies to the overall economy, the financial sector, even in planning and all that sort of stuff. So everything has its place. Yet we're trying to balance immigration reform, understanding that some of those revenues does play into the overall being able to run. So, and these fees and expenses like healthcare, education, and infrastructure works need to be funded somewhere. Where are you going to get that money from? So physical forecast are government's financial weather report, if you want to call it. It's a forecast. They can say we're going to get 20% of chance of rain and it don't rain. Or they can say, no need to bring your umbrellas today. And oh my God, then you need a canoe to get out of your house. Yeah. So these are only forecasts, and you're hoping that they can be as close based on previous trends, what you can predict, looking at markets, looking at what's happening around us, and showing what they expect to come in and what will go out, and whether the budget will stay balanced, which is what we hear a lot of. And but it's quite a well laid out document, and I'm hoping that in the coming days, that a lot of you will get access to this, pretty much like a manifesto for a party or during the election. Consider this a manifesto for the nation now. That's exactly what this is. And it tells you how we're going to fund it, and realistic from what is at the government's disposal, right? Or at their disposal. And then you're looking at the 2026 to 2028, the financial forecast, as I said, in continuation for further explanation, it zooms in on the next 3 years of what they want to deliver, showing detailed projections, and in the numbers in the back of this document, from income, spending, debt, to savings, to forecast, will show, like I said, what they expect and the expenses, like the salaries of even the civil service. So all of these is like the government's financial crystal ball, laying out what they expect to happen with public money between 2026 to 2028. You heard the Minister Ralston were talking about they will not fall afoul of the FFR. In layman's terms, that is our way of publicly saying that we will not fall outside the rules of the playbook. And this confirms that our government will follow good financial practices. So this whole procurement talks and all that sort of stuff, the necessary policies, hopefully outlined in this document, is covered, will actually be implemented, so that we will not get these big vanity projects that we're wondering who's going to pay for them, how it's going to be paid, procurement, how things are go out, that it's all fair and balanced, that they'll put the necessary laws that needs to be amended and policies in place, so that we will not see a continuation of what is declared in the Auditor General's report. And this is where it confirms that government is following good financial practices, like not overspending, keeping debt under control, and planning for the future and saving for emergencies. All of that is in there. Yeah. It's just our way of saying we're going to spend more wisely. And that's from a national perspective. Yeah. So you also looked, there's also a segment in here about the public sector debt profile and debt management. That is pretty much how we as a jurisdiction pays or manage what we owe. And what that is pretty much is how much the government owes, who it owes it to, and how it plans to manage and repay the debt over time. And just like you manage your own mortgage, or let's say a car loan, the government has to manage debt as well. So this is pretty much government's debt diary. It's showing what is borrowed, what's due, and how they will keep it under control, hoping that, we will be able to be a country where we're known for paying our bills and making sure that we can pay our persons that we borrowed from in time. So this is going to be key. And it explains as well how much it owes to those outside, and making sure that, Denver, I see you there. How are you? That we are in good standings, because you never know. You don't want, it's like me going to constantly borrow from a brother or a sister or a friend, and they know I can't pay it back eventually, or they give it to me at the first time, expecting me to say, okay, I'm going to pay you back X amount of time. And then all of a sudden, then it doesn't happen, or there's a length of excuse, or you just fall afoul. We don't want that reputation when it comes to an entire jurisdiction. You want to be able to pay back your debts. Let's see what Mr. Denver is saying this evening. The income has always been there. Good quality income to our government pretty much at all times. Why is it that we are always borrowing money? Forecasts or projections on spending. They have a record of previous spending, previous income, and yet we're always pulling money from the layaways in different departments to balance budget. Well, I guess we will listen to the debate, and some of these are key and excellent questions to ask or statements to be made, Denver. And this is why I implore persons to avail themselves, and if they have the time, to listen keenly. Yeah, because we're not an independent jurisdiction, and we can't do these things ourselves. And when it comes as a British Overseas Territories jurisdiction, these budgets, these forecasts, this SPS, don't think that the UK isn't looking at what we're promising as well. You got another guest coming. Right now, the Cayman Islands is a BOTC jurisdiction. That means, what does that mean for our finances? And just for being a BOTC, this explains exactly how the Cayman status as a BOTC territory affects our financial rules. It affects our borrowing limits and our international obligations. And we here in the Cayman Islands must follow certain UK linked financial rules, like keeping debt low and certain level of maintaining for transparency. So, at the end of the day, being a BOTC, that pretty much says, look, these are the rules that you have to follow because you are UK linked and because there's a certain precedence that we set. And keeping debt low, staying transparent, and calling out crap when we see it. It is what it is. Good evening, caller, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks.
Hi, Sabrina. MP Brian here.
Oh, hi, a representative from the opposition. Good evening. Hey, how are you?
Not too bad. I'm just listening to your analysis of the SPS and what was tabled today and the document itself. I think it may be interesting when the debate happens on Friday and you put what is actually in that document from a different angle. Because, like, for example, you see where it says they'll intend to have a surplus of just over $7 million every year moving forward. Of course, you're going to have a surplus if you go and do $300 million more in borrowing. Yeah, but the thing that you got to also say about that is, of course, if I borrowed $1 billion, there's loads of things I can do. But how much further in debt
is that putting the country?
Yeah, so I just recall how much of the conversation throughout the election was, we're putting the country in debt and they can't have a surplus. Of course, you could always have a surplus because the surplus is dependent upon operational costs, what it takes to operate the civil service. Once you have more money coming in than that, but if I go out and get a loan, of course I'll have more money coming in. So the books can look really good.
But it's not real because you still have a debt that you need to pay back.
Exactly my point. So you see, now the average person may not see this and understand this. They only hear words like deficit or surplus, and they see it as a positive and a negative, but they don't factor in the fact that, they missed the line that says, the government over the 3-year period is going to borrow $300 million in order to do so. They also didn't hear that the operational cost
of government
to run the civil service is going to increase to $1.3
billion. I wrote that down.
Right? That means the cost is going to increase. And we're talking about people saying throughout the campaign about how irresponsible everything is and the operational cost of civil service and all that. But they're predicting that in a 2-year, 3-year period is going to increase by $100 million almost every year until the end of 2028.
That's $1 billion. B with a billion in CI.
Yes. So what I've seen, if you want to take away anything from this, you can say is, one, the operational cost is going to increase, and taxes are going to increase by a worth of $50 million more in taxes on the people every year in order to make these to pay these bills, and they're going to borrow $300 million more to do it. If you see nothing else, if you hear all the fancy stuff they're going to do, and of course, by all means, I'm not saying that the policy document is all bad, but let's talk about the finances, which has been a headline for everything. Let's not miss the elephant in the room. $300 million more they're going to borrow to be able to say that they have a surplus at the end of these 3 years. In order for the numbers to make sense, in order for them to make the requirements as to the FFR. These are the type of things that we can't miss. Like, great. I heard all the fancy stuff, and that's great, and I support that. But it also has to be financially feasible, right? Because you can't criticize and then do exactly the same thing. And I also heard you give happiness for Minister Ebanks about having more funding for HSA and NGS 55. But the truth is, they didn't even do it to the 100%. One of them,
they can't. Jesus God, no, they can't.
But why can't they? Why can't they? What priority is taken ahead of the line then health.
But we
Why-
don't.
if
No,
you-
no. What I'm saying is, there maybe I can't speak on their behalf. This is to come in I guess finance when they do the budget. Maybe it's because they know they have Section 12s there.
Yeah, but okay, okay, you know what?
You see what I'm
and I
saying?
both know that. I know.
Okay,
but
okay.
I'm not sure the public understands that. So let's talk about that for a minute, Sabrina. A Section 12 means that you intend to later on, throughout the 2-year period of that budget, go back for more money. So what you're saying that you have a budget. My budget is exactly $100, and this is how much money, and I borrowed some money to cover the bills at $100. But you're not telling the truth, are you? Because you're already predicting that you're going to go back for 10 more. So actually, your budget is actually $110.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be honest. I mean, granted, yes, the provision is there for Section 12s. That's exactly what hindered you as a minister before.
Yes,
because it wasn't adequately funded.
it wasn't. No,
funded
Mm-mm.
when Ween was the premier, and it wasn't funded when the next premier came into place.
Mhm.
So we can't put it on. Okay,
Oh, just one. Yeah, no, it's
You know,
just bad practices from what
bad
we're
practice.
learning. Yeah.
And what I was made to understand, I was very hopeful and happy about it, was, oh, we're not going to do that again. But then you don't fully fund it. So you and I both know, Sabrina,
Mhm.
that they've decided not to put all the money there to go back for Section 12 because they can come back for it later on.
Maybe
and
it's
that
for
money
the
will come
road.
else.
Maybe it's for the cable.
I don't want to.
Maybe it's for the undersea. I mean, hey, this is the forum. We don't know. You've identified something. I've identified something. And when you look at the 5 deliverables, the outcomes based on the document that is now public document, you see what they want to. Some of the utterances in there are saying what they want to do. The undersea cable, looking at tech and AI and all that sort of stuff. So we don't know.
Well, I mean, granted, listen, there's a lot of things the country has to do. So I understand the principles of, boy, the only way you're going to make money at this point is if your 2 major economies do well.
Mhm.
Tourism, financial services. I don't know how much more fee increases you can do to financial services before it becomes scary and then they start to back off.
Right.
So there's a point of diminishing returns. Then you have tourism, which isn't going to be doing well with cruise. That's a fact. And the numbers are going to show over time. I am certain of that. Stay over, thank God, I set a good foundation for that. And tourism, stay over numbers are going to continue. But development, which is the other part where we make money off of, is starting to slow because we know that there's certain people within that grouping don't want the development to happen, but we make so much revenue from it.
Mhm.
So it's a conflict of interest where we don't want the country to move so fast, but we need the money to pay our bills.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Well,
and so
I'm going to, not cutting you. Yesterday I was speaking with someone in the tourism industry. Well, no, in the retail business. And to be honest with you, what was being said is they sang your praises. Before your face and behind your back, they sang your praises. They said, I can tell you what we're seeing out here is dead, at least even if the former Minister of Tourism wasn't away. We were hearing things from him that gave us hope. And I had to explain, maybe it's because after tomorrow that the plans for tourism, you will hear more from the minister. But that was not what the average Caymanian wanted to hear. You understand? This is somebody who makes their living based on commission. And they were not only thinking about themselves, they were actually saying, oh my God, my bosses are so good, despite it being a drought right now, understanding that its season is low. What they were looking at is that they are weary. They're worried about the future of cruise tourism. And if we don't start diversifying what we can look at for tourism, for stayover tourism. And this is someone who's out in town and it's a ghost town.
Former Minister Sabrina, honestly, I didn't even want to touch that subject because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to push the issue again. The people voted on it. They don't want it. But we're going to have to face the consequences if my predictions are right in the long term. I hate to say that, but we're going to have to wait a couple of years. And I've heard recently where they're saying, oh, they're projecting the numbers to go up. All of my data that I've collected, and I obviously used to be the chairman of the CTO, Caribbean Tourism Organization. I've called all my contacts, even the cruise lines, and said, as something shifted, I'd be happy to be able to say, well, you know what, I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And they outright said to me, I don't know where they're getting their numbers from, but Cayman numbers are not going up. But I hope I'm wrong. But I'm going to drop that there. But the point is, You can't sell one thing to the people. It's deceitful to sell one thing to the people and come back and do ultimately exactly the same thing, if not worse. You're borrowing $300 million. That's debt. That's just as bad as you saying a deficit. Now, if I wanted to trick the people, I can say, all right, we went off and borrowed $200 million, and we would never have had a deficit projection because we had borrowings. The former government borrowed $150 million, and we were critiqued by it. We never drew on the money. But yet still, in order to balance their budget, they had to borrow $300 million over the 3 years. I mean, and then there's no excuse whatsoever not to fully fund those two line items that are constantly reoccurring. And there's no reason for 80% when you know it's not like it's going to reduce. People are getting older. The population is growing. That figure is only going to increase. So you know you're going to have to come back for another 10, possibly $15 million if you only put $48 million in it, and average run rate is 56 and increasing. That's being deceitful. And they know that the average person doesn't understand the accounting principles of how the budgets are run. And then they sell these headlines. Like the part that I feel so saddened about is I did not educate my people the difference between a budget and a surplus and actually the operating cost of the country. Because the truth of the matter is having a surplus is irrelevant if you're borrowing money or if you're increasing the taxes on the people. Anyway, I didn't want to rant because I'm giving away a little bit of my hand here, but I'm not convinced because I know, as the old saying goes, mouth made to say anything. But the details are coming out now. And don't take it from Kenneth. I'm a little old Georgetown boy. Sometimes they don't listen to me. But I can promise you, the economists and the analysis, the accounting principles are going to critique this and say, what in the world is this? Because it's not what it doesn't. It sounds rosy and fluff, but you and I know, Sabrina, being there, seeing the accounts, understanding how cabinet works and how the budgets and going back to parliament for more money, you're basically just carrying. Matter of fact, I remember this one figure. At the end of the 2028, the country's debt is going to be over $600 million, the highest in Cayman's history.
Yeah.
Nobody caught that.
Yeah, I caught it. I caught it. So well, then that then begs to question, not that we're doing a debate, because I don't want you to play your hand. And this is by no means, this is for the sake of education. This is for the sake. I don't want to play this hand. I want to be able to say to the government, you know what? I don't care who's in government. Right. Of course, I would like to be in government, but if they're succeeding and the people are succeeding, then I'm happy. Right. But what I don't like is when you're being deceitful, because that's just as good as lying to the public. Don't be deceitful. Tell the truth. If things going to be hard for a little while because of the global circumstances and the direction you want to take the country, be honest. But don't say that and then come around and felt, let's change the wording a little bit, but we're going to do exactly the same thing in a different way, but sell it a different way, and the people going to gobble it up. People ain't stupid. They get more and more educated people here, and I'm hoping. That's why I released that document. As soon as I got it, I flood as many people as I know who would take the time to read it and analyze it and see what it means from an accounting principle, from budgeting principles, as to how the civil service operates and how capital expenditure operates. So you see if they can see it for themselves, because obviously I'm conflicted. I'm a member of the opposition. Of course, can I go and say that because he won't be in power? He don't like this government. Yeah, I was going to ask that question. What if people actually say you're only coming out like this now because you are in opposition? But I'm glad that you're doing this talk right now, because I'm getting it even now as a podcast host that I'm just a sore loser, but that's okay. For what I've shared in this short time, people are actually thanking me. You're going to face the same thing being in opposition. But if you take your role in me too, if you take your role in opposition, exactly what it's to be for, people will thank you for pointing out certain things. And not that you're against the government, because you're just being in opposition. Yeah, my job is to hold them accountable and analyze the transparency. Listen, I can't come here and lie to you, because the proof is there. Yeah. And they can counteract me any day of the week, and I welcome them correcting me. And if I am wrong, I'll be happy to be wrong. So that means things are good for the country. Right. But I'm only telling you what I've seen based on my 9 years in politics and experience that I've built up. And it's not like you're a former minister. You've seen the same things I see. And it's going to probably take somebody else to say it, probably a foreigner, probably somebody of lighter colored skin to say it before they believe you. But that's life. All I know is that. But it's that culture. It is that culture why we will never be any change or little change, because it's coming from someone who has been there. You're still there. but yet I would be doubted before they're looking and listening to what I'm saying, trying to process what I'm about to share, what I've been sharing to educate, because I realized there was a gap with understanding out here. Okay.
Correct.
And when
And
you
that's
are
why
a
I'm impressed
sitting
with what you're doing.
MP, when you are a sitting MP, when you're a sitting minister, you cannot do this from an educational standpoint because time does not permit you to do so.
Correct.
And
Correct.
this is why I am happy that I didn't just go and tug away in the corner. Well, Kenneth, you need to place me, boy, and I just angry. No, I'm still doing my part because I realized where there was a space that needed to be filled. But look at the large percentage of people who are, which doesn't mean diddly squat to me, are saying, well, she has so much to say now. Why didn't she say this when she was employed? Kenneth, we're like hamsters going around the wheel.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Minister. But you know what? I think say it anyway, because the one thing that gives me comfort is I know I did the things from my heart. And I know you think I wanted to fight a cruise tourism battle so people can come and campaign against me. I didn't want to take it on. I took it on because I knew that the inevitable was going to come. And I'm sad because I believe that one day people are going to say, Kenneth, you know what? You're right. The numbers, look how bad they are now. But I did what I believe was right. So people may criticize me for saying, oh, you're opposition, you're sore losing. All that's okay. As long as what I'm comfortable that I'm saying the truth and my analysis is what it is. You can contradict me. The government is going to get up and say their position and they're going to sell it. But one thing you can't hide from is facts and the truth. So let it be what it is because it's going to come out to light. Because at the end of this year, at the end of next year, you still got to come out and tell the people, well, how much debt we in now? You still got to tell the truth about that. You can't lie. So you can pretend all you want, but eventually it's going to come out. And I tell you what, it's going to come up before 2029. I'll leave you there.
This is one, listening. Denver said exactly, listening to the white collar foreign national dictating to our government what to do and not do in our islands. And then Darlene actually says, here you again, 4 more years for the same old dog wash again.
Anyway, I hope I didn't upset anybody, but I had to express my views because I was honestly, I went in today and I said, you know what, Kenneth, look for something positive, find something positive, and I said all the stuff because you know how we write the policy statement, you put all the magical words, the drafters sell it, how you saying, oh, we're going to make life better and all that. But the practical delivery, and the other thing is, I'm still waiting for the debate because I want to hear, okay, this is your wish list. This is what your policy, how are you going to do it? Is the question. Now, what you're going to do, you know, so tell me that's what politicians do. Oh, I'm going to do all of these wonderful things. All right, great. You're going to build my house? Tell me how you're going to build it, you say?
Well, it is explained under one of those things in there. Like I said, 3 hours before pretty much getting started is when it got live, right? And until it's tabled, it's considered a draft. I got to say what I got to say, right? So anything could have been changed on the fly. So now that it's tabled, there are mechanisms as to how they're going to do it, which was slightly touched on by the Minister of Finance today. And what was quite interesting, though, despite balancing, and I know I'm going to get accused of coming at an individual, balancing where the revenues come in, which is income money that government makes. One of the things that they put in there was work permit fees.
Yep. I mean, you see.
Do you understand what I just said? But
I understand fully. Right. Here's the quagmire we're in, right? Because I agree with you. I don't want to challenge the Honorable Minister either. Because if he fails, the country is failing. And I know sometimes people don't believe us when we say, listen, we're only critiquing because we want him to succeed. But if we see something and it doesn't make sense,
call it out.
We have to critique it. We have to call it out. So
it's a balance. It's a balance.
Here's a quagmire. The government depends on almost $100 million worth of revenue on work permit fees. If you want to cut back and, as he said, get rid of them, as he said so many times before, and cut back on that, where are you gonna make up the losses in revenue?
We'll just attach that onto some fees, maybe onto the financial industry, or maybe attach it onto some of the fees.
So when financial services say, how many more times can you tax us more and more and more and more? This is why diversification of our economy is so essential, because you cannot keep on squeezing the same line
people over and over again.
It's going to come back and bite us in the butt. And let me tell you something, financial services, you know why I'm so happy to invest in tourism? You can't pick up that hotel and take it. You can't pick it up tomorrow. But I tell you what financial services can do. They can shut down their computer, get on the plane, and open up another office within 7 days flat in another jurisdiction.
And look at
And
how
I can
I'm
promise
working.
you-
Look at how I'm working. I'm working from
Exactly.
home. You can do this in Dubai. I can do this in Dubai.
I listen.
But if you understand what I'm saying, it's
Yeah.
where we're going.
Sabrina, my stomach is telling me, Kenneth, stop where you're at, because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to be like downgrading the government. I tell you the truth. I'm worried. I am genuinely worried. And I personally, if I was the premier, I would have called every member of parliament and say, let's be one government together. All members of opposition, all members of government, we're going to all sit on the same side so we can go through this fight together.
Is that only for this and the budget, or that
I'm
is
talking
because?
about period.
Well, then
period,
it
because
wouldn't
if
be
you-
a true parliament, because in any
I'm
environment
gonna
for
say-
democracy, you need to have an opposition.
I'll
And
give
this
you an
is where
example.
the conversation comes in. Then, are we at a point where we need to look at additional people?
I agree with that. But let me give you an example. In Barbados, me and Motley and her party.
Yes, I remember
30
that.
love. 30
Mhm.
love flat.
The whole
Right? Every seat, the whole party. So much so that one of her members for democracy stepped over and said, I will be the official opposition to hold the government accountable. because
that's
of democracy.
democracy. Yes.
Yeah, but what you want is as many people giving you input as possible. Fine, they may not think I have much experience or education or whatever. That's okay.
Mhm.
What about Roy McTaggart, a person with great finance like that in economics? What about the Honorable Joseph Hugh, who comes from business? Could he not help this government? What about the Honorable Perlina, a smart businesswoman that understands the female side? Could they not support? Nobody's asking for cabinet seats. I personally think it's time for us to come together, but you need to be able to be willing to listen to the other side too. You can't have stubborn ministers like the one that me and you keep on talking about going, I'm not business want nobody say, this is what we're doing. Because you might end up messing the whole thing up. It's very delicate. Our structure and our economy has been created ever so delicately by our forefathers. And just as much as it took time to get us to this point, we're going to have to be very delicately taking it apart and putting it back together. Because if you do it too drastically, you forget which parts went where. You ever seen a person take an engine apart and forget which bolt was for what? That was going to happen. Anyway, again, I'm going to stop there. Love you. Talk to you later, darling.
All right. Take care. Thank you. That is Member of Parliament for the Electoral District of Georgetown Central, who is also the Deputy Leader of the Progressives People Movement, PPM. And he's in definitely the opposition now, having been the former Minister of Tourism and I think at one point ports and transport. Yeah. And yeah, now they will have an opportunity, as you rightfully said. And what I got from takeaway from that exchange was calling for a one government where pretty much everybody comes over and decide there is no opposition. What is your takeaway on that? Cayman 9368255 for that suggestion. Where we're going, understanding the climate that we're in. Does that signal true democracy for the Little Cayman Islands when you're hearing the operational amount that it's going to take to run our country? Where do you see the Cayman Islands? What would that mean to you if everybody, even the opposition, became the government and there was nobody over there? First of all, I don't think you would have space for it from a visual standpoint that everybody then comes over on the government side if that was to be the case. And it will be very interesting, but I would love to hear your takeaway on that. Somebody who's really into politics and sounding the whistle there, should that ever become a reality. Denver says, that's exactly where we're going. Before long, many of these work permit holders will be working for companies here from their own home and homeland or wherever they choose to live. Darlene, what a heat going on. Darlene, I don't know what you think. Pure madness is Connie's suggestion that we don't have an opposition, that everybody else comes over to the government. It signals a question mark. Yeah, Mia Motley did it once in Barbados, and even one of her own members went over to the opposition for the Constitution to actually be carried out. And one member, does that signify true democracy? What's your take on it? I would love to get your feedback. Thank you for those who are responding. Well, it's very interesting because he says, in his takeaway in the public discussion, and thank him for calling on. Again, this invitation was extended to the government side as well, so we could have a balance. All parties are welcome. This is a public and free platform, but to each his own. The squeaky wheel gets the oil, and kudos to Minister Bryan for using whatever platforms he can to get his word out there, contrary to what some of you may say or think. But this is where social media platforms like this is your voice, gives you an inside picture of what really happens. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're not criticizing. I feel that I've been still able to manage doing a neutral platform so where both sides, all sides can be heard. But looking at it from that perspective, which I wanted clarity, why won't this government sit down with the current opposition to see what's in the best interest, the trajectory and the direction as to where we all go for our people? And he called out the skill sets of the leader of the opposition, the leader of the progressives movement, and you look at all the skill set are over there with Mr. Roy McTaggart and his vast knowledge in finance. Now, they will have their opportunity in their debate. And it is at that time that possibly amendments could be made with the trajectory. We don't know. And this is why we have to tune in on Friday. The document is now public. All of the opposition members have now been furnished with a copy of this document. They go back and they look at it. You've heard the representative for Georgetown Central saying where his concerns are with the amount of borrowing that is was cited and exactly how much will be in debt by 2028. Who pays for that? Can we really pull the brakes? Are we at a point where we can say, okay, let's fund healthcare, but what happens to all the other things that are in play? You can't just come to a dead halt, pretty much, is what I'm getting. What are we going to do diversifying our storage or stay over our tourism product? And then you have all of the infrastructure works that needs to be done, right? You need this road where balance in the sustainable environmental laws and legislations put in place so that we're not upsetting anyone, so to speak. And then you're looking at access to housing, affordable housing, so that everyone can feel like I can own a piece of my home. There's hope for persons seeking tertiary education. You got to fund scholarships and all that sort of stuff so that we're having a better educated society. We're seeing some of the changes in the infrastructure as it pertains to our schools, that there are still more monies in this document to enhance and repair some of our educational establishments that are already there that are in dire need for repairs. So here we go again. Some may say, well, why did we put so much in one school in the BRAC again? When we realize and we've established that we have schools that are run down that needs the attention, why couldn't that money spread over all the other schools that were already built that is falling into disrepair? Then you're looking then at our national security from the police. We see what's happening there with the police station. We're seeing where they're operating out of and what will be the improvements there for morale issues and making sure that our borders are secured and safe with everything else. Oh, yeah. And Tuesday, there was another boat that was blown up by the U.S. authorities of a small boat containing 6 persons that was blown up under the labeling of narco-terrorism. So there's a lot going on. I think now more than ever, we need to be having a lot of conversations. We need to be having a lot of a conversation in regards to national security. And I was looking at the document and looking, let me see if I can add this to the stage. I know it's very fine, guys. But when we're looking at, okay, Minister of Tourism, former Minister of Tourism was talking, and right now for 2026, 55,844 is now budgeted in this document. And then that bumps up in 2027 to 56 million. And then in 2028, it goes up to $60 million. And then we looked at oversight for commission. These are numbers that are contained in the document that is in this thing. And all of these numbers now that are forecasted are estimated to be funded in order for them to cover them for the year 2026, 2027 that I have on the screen, and 2028. They now, when they meet for finance committee, are going to come numbers that are either exactly to this hoping that because it's a table document, that all the numbers declared here will actually be what will be given to the respective ministries and portfolios. So yes, we got, which other one popped out here at me? Sports and culture, youth sports and culture, 17,733, that's 17 million, then 27, 20 million. And then the same 20 million in 2028. So it's quite interesting. Home affairs. So this is our 911 or prison. We got 911 prison, our cadets. We got here as well. We got fire. They're now for 26, 129 million, 27, 133 million. And in 28, 134, 912. That's a good bit of number there. Yeah. So these are all of the things that we're seeing. And Ministry of Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing, 86 million, then 27, 88 million, and 28, 94 million, 346. So yeah, interesting. So when you see these numbers, we're going to make sure now that when it comes to Finance Committee time in November, that you go back to this document, because remember, this is a part of forecasting, like the weatherman. Remember, I gave you an idea. The weatherman, we're going to see if they're going to come up with these numbers as much as they can stick for what is in this document, because remember, this is what you're holding them accountable for. So it will be interesting where it goes from here. Yeah, Auditor General, then you got the Attorneys General, Deputy Governor portfolios, you got the Premier Cabinet Office, Oversight Committee of Parliament, then you got the Ministry of Finance and Minister of Education, 233,297,000 for 26. For 27, you got 237,696,000. And then in 28, 202,822. Yeah. So these are the numbers that you're actually looking for so that they can deliver on what they say that they're going to deliver. And then for health, you got 180. Oh my God, those are beautiful numbers. 182,228,000. And in 2027, 186,697,000. And in 2028, it's 199,243,000. Wow. Those are great numbers. Great numbers to work with. I haven't been there, but it's a bigger picture on where we're going about sustainability, understanding the debt that we are in and how much more debt we're going to be in, as alluded to earlier on. Denver, they call it collective responsibility, yet both sides will not sit down, as you just said, to trash out our problems. Yeah. Denver, it is. You heard it yourself. You're hearing the frustration even in those that are elected. Can you imagine what we're feeling out here? And at the end of the day, we all have to coexist. We all have to live and abide by the rules because we're not an independent jurisdiction. You further said the collective responsibility to me is all of our government combined sorting out our country's problems. And you think we can do that by remaining in a democratic way in which the composition of parliament is, where we have a balanced opposition and you have your government side. So yeah, very interesting. But I thank you for your feedback, guys. But this is what we are up against, and I'm hoping that tonight that you would be able to go on the various websites and stuff and see this for yourself so that you're well prepared to be able to listen to the debate and hear what persons like from the opposition will have to say about it and their questions. And many times, like we said, they're there to oppose, to question, but not to see us fail. Sometimes it is food for thought, ideas, or seeing it from a different perspective. So that is what the opposition is there for. Our Constitution outlines it. And there's a reason for how we've had these subjects here for this very same reason in the past. So that is why you heard me, as boring as it may be for some of you, That is why I took the time out. I could have been on all sorts of, who's having an affair here, who's having an affair there. Oh, well, what a mess. Did you hear about this? No. I thought it was important for us to bring stuff like this up so that it's relevant, because for all of you tonight, if you want to go back and watch today's proceedings, based on what I've shared with you, it should make it easier for you to digest, coupled with what was shared by a member of the opposition, member for Georgetown Central, who has aired some of his frustrations without playing all of his hand for how he's intending to debate this, okay? And it is cause for concern. There's a lot to be absorbed in some of these sittings, and it's a lot if you're not in it all the time. Like Mr. Balika Samamba says, how much people are going to be like me and him, just really sit down and listen. I not only listen, I also observe. I want to see it on the screen. I want to see the body language. I want to hear the pitch. I want to hear the tone, so that I can read a little bit more. I'm not psychic. It's just different. If you've ever been to a basketball game in person, the energy, the vibe, the feeling when you're in that arena, that stadium, or let's say a live football or cricket match, whatever, it's just something different versus watching it at home. And having been in there, I hope I can articulate some of the movements and what's going on in there to you to make it easier. Yes. So that's my aim. But yeah, we got 5 minutes to go. I'm going to end at 7 because I want you to go and find that document and to digest it yourself. So yeah, very interesting as we continue to unfold. And for some of you who may actually get a headache from this, when you read those definitions about broad outcomes and all of that sort of stuff, and saying how, you heard the representative for Georgetown Central says, well, how are they going to do it? How are they going to do it? These are all broken down in a definition so that it's easier read when you do get the document, for you to know what each section highlighted means. And, the overview, the highlights, all of that sort of stuff. There are specific outcomes that they want to achieve, and their key project initiatives. I read very quickly in this that they're looking, there was mention made of even the cargo facility, the cargo port facility was also mentioned. And like we said here earlier on, the undersea cable, and we understood how important that is for connectivity. Everything is going digital, and that'll be covered under your infrastructure. And for connectivity purposes, we know how access to internet, we saw when one of the Maya 1 fiber optic cables were broken the other day, what delays we had in communications. It was just mayhem. Can you imagine if we're totally cut off? So these are all the things that we're looking forward in this document. May not be flashing lights in your face, but are embedded in the document to look for. What is it we're saying? We don't have 50 to 60 people in Parliament. 19 people should be putting their egos and personal agendas aside to work for our country. You're quite right. You're quite right. Yeah. And this is why bipartisan is key in these moments. For something like this, what is the blueprint for the Cayman Islands, where we're going to go for the next pretty much 3 years, how it's going to be funded for the next 2-3 years is key. That everyone remains in their respective place instead of signaling caution, and look at this and then debate it out. So this is where we saw the unrest with what transpired, and not giving anybody any wrong. They have a right to do what they want under the Constitution. But yeah, it's going to take a lot of collaboration. It's going to take a lot of putting your egos aside and making sure we put people first and holding those persons accountable who are just not doing their jobs, that could actually cause this document from not being delivered in this term. Because our government is there to present this beautiful blueprint. They're now going to go to try and fund all of the things that they're promised to the people of the country. But that's pretty much it. To deliver on that, it's going to require the civil servants. Yeah. And that's where it comes in. And it's during that time that keeping the lines of communication open with their constituents, especially those that are responsible for certain ministries, whatever is in this document for what they're going to do, like immigration reform is huge. I would suggest that that conversation continues because people are going to be upset if it's not delivered as what was proposed, with a delicate balance, of course, and you're going to have to get the weigh-in from our opposition as well. You hear the east-west arterial is a huge, huge, huge issue. They're going to have to give you timelines on deliverables for that and why and how it's going to be funded, stuff like that. And of course, financial industry, healthcare sector. But based on the numbers there, I think we shouldn't hear a lot of complaints if it's funded. There's a reason why I made that statement about you shouldn't hear a lot of complaints because it's funded. That organically came from a place of being a minister. Because pretty much you fund them. It's for them to deliver. It's for them to not squander. It's for them to make sound decisions so that the quality of access to healthcare is there, that you should see an improvement in the surroundings. You should see access being more accessible, and the experiences should be that much better because they would have been funded. So if you're still hearing, let's say April, May, June of next year, because remember, these monies now will go in effect as of January 1st. If come June, July, August, September, we're pounding the same drum that you're having issues with referrals, you're having issues with the surroundings, that there's still water issues, that there's still blankets and issues, all of the complaints that we're hearing. And I'm not picking on HSA, for God's sake. I'm just using these as example, because this is issues throughout, right? If we're still hearing those come this time next year, Houston, we got a problem. We have a problem, because we will call it once we see these things are funded. If they're adequately funded, then we shouldn't be hearing the complaints of you accessing services, what services are available. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Little, yep, very interesting. But Denver, sound. Thank you so much for definitely sharing that. And I think that's where I'll leave you guys for today, because it's a lot for us to digest. I definitely now have to go through this cover by cover again and pick up some things for myself so it now makes sense to me. But at 12 o'clock tonight, it ends. It's the deadline for, I'll play the shortest video for those who want to nominate someone. And yeah, so I want to thank you all for joining me this evening for this very chaotic episode of Sabrina Speaks. And tomorrow is Thursday. Gentle reminder, tomorrow is Thursday, the 16th. The Tropical Gardens tomorrow, there will be at the Brokendown Webster Memorial Church Hall for their breast cancer awareness meetings. Yeah, that's tomorrow. So please don't forget that. And on Friday, there will be also at the Northside Health Clinic. And I think that's runs from 10 until about 12, giving you advice on breast cancer tips. And then there's a big health fair that is going to be in East End at the East End United Church from 9 until noon this Saturday. So please don't forget. But there's a awareness meeting by starts at 7 o'clock tomorrow at the Webster Memorial Church Hall. So yeah, there you go. It has been my pleasure bringing you another episode of Sabrina Speaks, but not before this 36-second commercial.
Infrastructure is more than roads and buildings. It's our lifeline.
From pioneers who paved the first paths to today's crews and engineers who keep us going.
They power hospitals, connect families, and help us after natural disasters.
Let's honor the people behind Cayman's progress.
Nominate someone who built or maintained our Cayman Islands
at gov.ky/YSCH. Click Nominate today.
That's right. And that ends tonight at 12 o'clock. So you want to just go onto that website. If someone came to mind and you want to definitely just nominate them, go right ahead. It has been my pleasure bringing you another episode of Sabrina Speaks. And I'm wishing everyone a good evening. Thanks to everyone who stays with me and who puts up even when I get training 101 in real time. What a mess that was this evening. Connie, you're a joker. You know, you are a joker. But yes, I'm wishing everyone a good night. Have a good evening. God bless. Mwah. Love y'all lots. Until tomorrow for another episode of Sabrina Speaks. Take care. That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, Cayman, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.